Imagine this. You're born into a loving family, raised on ancestral land, and told that you belong. But the moment you get married, everything changes. Suddenly, your birthright, the land, the home, the inheritance, is no longer yours. The reason? Your dowry was paid. For millions of married women, this isn't just a story. It's a lived reality. Across cultures, the tradition of dowry has been used as an excuse to deny women their rightful inheritance. But how did this practice start? And why does it still affect women today? Let's uncover the truth about how dowry is robbing married women of their inheritance rights. Dowry is an age-old tradition that exists in many societies, from Asia and Africa to parts of Europe and the Middle East. Traditionally, dowry involved the transfer of money, land, or valuable gifts from the bride's family to the groom's family at the time of marriage. In some cultures, it was meant to support the bride in her new home. In others, it was a status symbol, reflecting the family's wealth and social standing. Over time, dowry became a price paid for marriage, often reinforcing the idea that women were a burden to be compensated for. While some communities have modernized this tradition, in many places, dowry is still used as a weapon against women's inheritance rights. In many societies, once a woman is married and her family has given dowry, she is considered transferred to her husband's family. This belief creates two dangerous assumptions. First, she no longer belongs to her birth family, meaning she has no right to inherit from her father's estate. Second, her dowry is seen as her share of inheritance, even though land and property are far more valuable and permanent. For example, in many African and South Asian communities, daughters are told they have no right to inherit land because dowry has already compensated them. Sons inherit everything because they are expected to carry on the family name and care for their parents. Widowed or divorced women are left with nothing, as their in-laws may refuse to recognize their dowry as permanent ownership of property. Even in places where laws guarantee equal inheritance, customary traditions still dictate that dowry replaces a woman's right to land or property. Denying married women inheritance because of dowry has far-reaching consequences. Without land or property, many women remain financially dependent on their husbands or in-laws. If a marriage turns abusive, a woman may have nowhere to go, as she has no legal claim to family land. When women are denied inheritance, their children also suffer, leading to cycles of poverty. In many places, customary practices override formal laws, leaving women with little recourse. This isn't just about fairness. It's about human rights. Thankfully, many countries have laws that protect women's inheritance rights. India's Hindu Succession Act grants daughters equal rights to inherit parental property, regardless of marriage. Kenya's Law of Succession Act recognizes all children, sons and daughters, as rightful heirs, regardless of marital status. The Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women calls for equal property and inheritance rights worldwide. However, despite these laws, enforcement remains a major challenge. Families still prioritize tradition over law, making it difficult for women to claim their rightful inheritance. One powerful example is a landmark case in Kenya where a woman, Joyce Kimamortapoyo, was denied her father's land simply because she was married. Her family argued that her dowry had already settled her inheritance, but she took the case to court, and the judge ruled in her favor, affirming that dowry does not replace inheritance rights. This case sets a strong precedent for other women facing the same struggle. But the fight is far from over. To end inheritance discrimination based on dowry, we need action on multiple levels. Many women don't know their legal rights. We must educate them and their families about equal inheritance laws. Governments must crack down on families and institutions that use dowry as a reason to deny women their inheritance. Communities must understand that dowry is not inheritance. Women deserve both marital security and birthright property. Many women fear backlash from their families. We need stronger support systems, including legal aid, shelters, and financial assistance. Change starts with conversation, awareness, and bold action. The idea that dowry replaces a woman's inheritance is outdated and unjust. Land and property are not gifts, they are human rights. A woman should never have to choose between a happy marriage and economic security, respecting tradition and claiming her birthright, her family's approval and justice. Denying women inheritance hurts families, economies, and entire communities. It's time to change the narrative. If you found this discussion insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more deep dives into legal and social issues that shape our world. Let's continue the conversation in the comments. Should dowry still be practiced? Or is it time to end it? I'd love to hear your thoughts.